And the good thing about this kind of sound, if you generate it yourself, is that the memory space it will use on your device will be very, 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 very minimal. Hi guys, welcome to the studio. Today we're going to be talking about subtractive synthesis. Yes, so if you have been thinking about how to make your own sound, how to generate your own sound to your own taste and preference, this is what we're going to be talking about today. Let's go. Welcome back. So, synthesizers, they come in many shapes and forms, and, they employ many different synthesis methods to generate, their sound. And I think one of the most popular methods is this subtractive synthesis. There is a lot of, how do I put it, scripts online that you can actually read to know how to do this. But if you are someone like me who likes to just watch videos and straight up someone do it for you one time and then you are good to go, you can get it and continue from there, this video is for you. What do we do on our channel to begin with? We basically walk you through the tips and tricks of how to use your device. In that way, you will definitely just spend less time to do more when you are working on your project. We have so many hidden features that we show you, and we have a lot of quick tips that we give you, because we believe it's important that you know how to use your device before you even learn to know how to make the beat. The more you can use your device, the faster, the quicker, and the better you'll be able to produce beats on the device. So we take it beyond the basics, deep dive to give you those spicy tips and tricks that can make your workflow a lot easier, and that's why we are here. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and yes, let's go. So let's talk about the subtractive synthesis, right? What is actually the subtractive synthesis, right? It's actually just a simple process of filtering, shaping, and modulating an audio signal. You are altering, I think, the harmonic content, and you are altering the dynamic characteristics, and that's what some people call the timbre. Yeah. Now, so it generally requires you to be able to do this, right? You need some basic three components that you are going to be modulating or editing. Is the oscillator, the filter, and the amplifier. We're going to be talking about each one of them. We're going to actually try and do like a test demo, and then we see how this works. So this might be kind of like a little bit of lengthy video, heads up, but it will be worth your while. You're going to learn something new. If you are new to this industry and you really want to be able to make the best out of your device, yes, we have the oscillator, right? We generate that initial tone, kind of like a repeating audio signal. It's made of pure waveform. We have the sine wave, the square wave, triangle wave, sawtooth wave, a lot of synth. Can actually they have their custom oscillator that many other offer the ability to blend multiple oscillators together into a single sound. And also we have the filter, right? Basically the audio signal that is coming out from the oscillator, we pass it through a filter. You remove the frequency you don't want, then some you alternate. Yeah. Then we have the amplifier. Basically that's what it is, amplifier. That's where the envelope comes in. You can use that one to now shape the volume of that sound over time. Now we're gonna do practical here, so it's not as if this is theory. If you really want theory, I will have to just go and read it up, but today pure practical. Now the first thing you need to do is we're trying to create our own sound, right? And the best place to do that will basically just be inside our key group, right? And then so let's go to key group, completely empty. So now basically right from here, let's just say we name this. Let's rename this to let me give it bass boost. Bass booster. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do this. We have a bass booster there. Now, one of the first things we need to do right now here is we can go to menu, we'll go to program edit. In program edit, in global here, I'm sure if we've done a video before that talks about this program edit and what some of these features are for. So yeah, if you have not seen the video, I think I'll try and put a link here. I hope I don't forget all these links. Yeah, I'll put a link here so that you can actually see how, you know, some of these features and what they do in program edit. But then if you do not see some of these things that you are seeing here in the video, in the link, it probably means maybe the video is for program edit when you are in you know, program mode and not in you know, key group program. You are basically in drum program, or you're not in plugin program, you're in key group program. That's probably where that might be different. But eventually you see that some things are actually still the same. A good example would be the polyphony. Now, this poly, what does it really mean? We're talking about the fact that you want to be able to play multiple things together at the same time, right? Like if I want to be able to press 3 or 4 things, 3 or 4 MIDI events, and then everything is heard, you know, all together, everything plays out all together. But then, because of what we're trying to do now, we're trying to generate a bass sound, like a very heavy bass. So you don't want it's not really advisable for it to play on top of each other. One must play, and then the next one must come in, and the next one must come in. That's how it works. So we need to take that down to mono, right? Yes. Once that is done, the next thing to do now would be to go and set up the oscillators, right? Yes. So let's go back to the we can even go back to the samples, right? But then we don't have any of the files here. So I go back to my menu, double tap my menu, and I already have some of those waveforms inside the folder, right? Let me go to here. I think I have them inside processor, oscillators. So if we put it, I think I have triangle wave, square wave, sine wave, then sawtooth wave. So I have all these 4 in a folder. I might just put a link. Probably will put a link to how you can download this, or where you can download this. I'll add it. It will be at the bottom of the in the comment section. Actually, yes, I'll put a link there. You can download this, and just so that it will be easier for you to practice alongside. All I need to do, if I need to, I need to copy everything onto my project, instead of me to come here to click on open it and then load it one by one. One of our, also we did a video that shows kind of like the shortcut on how you can get these things done faster. If you also need to know the quick tips and tricks to get things done faster while you work, there is a link here as well that can show you that. Now all I need to do is click on shift and hold it, then I'll click on load all. It will load the entire file and all the content inside that particular folder. It loads everything for me. Load all. Now all is loaded, so I come back to my main and then program edit, right? And in my program edit, while I'm on layer 1, I can click here and select each of the samples, right? So let's come back here. So while I click here, I can select any of my samples from here. So I have the sawtooth, I have the sine wave, I have the square wave, I have the triangle wave. From here first, let us even hear, because this loop is on now. Let me press something and see if you can hear something. Ooh. We're going to be working mostly from the C or D, any which one that works better for you. Well, yeah, this one too works, but I like to stick with C for now. It's kind of like moderate for me. So, do you get that? Now, what you've done right now, the next thing you need to do is let's employ this method of doubling the sound, right? We're going to double the sound and let's see what we get. So basically what happens is, normally we can you don't need to stress much, just come to layer 2 and do the same thing, sawtooth wave. And if you're playing right now, because they are like on top of each other, the volume in terms of velocity tends to increase much more. But then you need to, what we're trying to do is trying to like give it a little bit of tweak to ensure that they are producing different kind of vibrations for us to be able to make our own perfect sound as we want it to be. So let me come here And here on the fine tune, while I'm pressing and holding this, oh, it's loud. Pardon me, let me quickly first of all go back to the main and go here, reduce this sound, the overall output. Oh, it's clipping, so I need to put it in a place where it's low enough for me to work. Okay, yeah, this works for me because eventually we're still going to bring it up, so that works. Let me go back here. Now from here, let me take down the fine tune a little bit. You can even tell immediately like something is different. So I'll put it on 8. Did you hear that? So that's basically what we're talking about when you're now basically trying to fine tune or probably work on the semi-tune. And you know from the onset, when you're dealing with your semi-tune, you're saying, oh, you know what? We're talking about your octave here, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you know by now that an octave is 12 semitones. So if I take it down to minus 12, basically what I'm saying is, so I'm just taking it down an octave. And if I take it, plus 12, I'm taking it, down, up, an octave. So let's work with, let's just take it down an octave. Did you hear that? Yes. Let me see what other things we have here. The envelopes, 3 levels. Yep. Okay, fine. We're good. Now, there's another thing we need to do. Like I said, we have another layer. That's the third layer, right? Let's see. What can we put here? We can easily also, add our samples here. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you are on this page or the third page. You can add your sample from anywhere. So let's add something else here. Let's add the third sample here, which would be the sine wave, right? Yeah. Let's add the sine wave here. Then once we've added this, we now apply filters. So let's add something. Let's see how it plays out. Aha. Now it's taking that deep sound, but it's not there yet, and we've not really gotten exactly what we're looking for. And so let's just go. Let's go. Okay. So now we'll try to apply, filters right now. We'll go to while we're in program edit, we'll just press the envelopes button, and we'll do this because we're trying to, apply that to the filter. So while we're here on the, the envelope filter, I think it will be okay for us for what we're trying to do right now. We can leave this filter to low 2, and then this cutoff. Basically, what the cutoff does is it takes off, it cuts off the high, and then it leaves us with the, that particular low kind of frequency, the one we're looking for. So this is where we got the low pass filter. Do you get? So the low pass filter basically will just cut off all the frequencies, the higher frequencies, and then so it's advisable you press and hold, then you reduce this. Let's go. You can see so let's say we do 50, right? And now it's different from what we had before, right? Let me do 55. Okay, this is cool. Now with what we have right now, there is, take a look at this one. This is kind of like the resonance, right? And if you are previewing also, like while pressing the pad and holding the pad, you can also try to adjust the resonance to hear. Basically what the resonance does is it's kind of like we amplify the frequency around that frequency cutoff point. It will give the sound a more pronounced, brighter, or kind of like harsher tone. So while we hold on to it, we increase the resonance, right? 14. So you can see that it's becoming kind of like darker and like deeper right now with this one set in place. Now, what's the next thing in line to do? Basically, we can now, come back to the envelope amplitude. Here. If you come back here, this is where we're gonna work on the attack, decay, sustain, and release. So basically saying, you know what, how long it takes to go up. I don't want to waste your time on attack, decay, sustain, and release because we already did a video on that. And if you want to know more about that, you can also check out this link right here. It will show you exactly what you need to do in terms of that particular. It's kind of like a very quick tip that can help you to understand what attack, decay, sustain, and release does. And now we're not going to be doing much. Do you get in that right here? All we're just going to be doing is just a couple of tweaks to probably, so that when we release it, because what's happening right now is when I put my hands on it and I release it, you can actually hear one particular funny click at the end, and I need that to kind of like fade out because I'm going to be pressing for the one and then switching to another one. So I don't want that sound. Then that is basically what we're saying, you know what, just increase the release to a number where it will at least extend out and that click will be taken care of. Yeah, something like that. Even this still works, but I think I like it to be a little bit prolonged, kind of. This works for me. So now it means what we have right now, the clip is gone. Then we'll now go to something called the LFO. Let's add that. Now, there are some frequencies that you really cannot, on their own, they do not make a sound. You cannot hear it. Do you get? Those are the LFOs. We're basically calling them the low frequency. Do you get? The low frequency oscillator. Now, basically, what is you can hardly hear it, but if you apply it on, and this is it, if you apply any of their effects on your how do I put it, on your sound, the effect, you're going to feel the effect by what you're going to hear eventually. Do you get? So while they cannot make a sound, they can alter any sound you bring in, and then they'll give you something more interesting. And that's basically what LFO does for you. So we're also gonna, deploy that. So while we're inside LFO, as far as your sine wave is concerned, we're basically going to be making use of, the pitch. We're talking about the pitch, the filter, the amplitude, and then you panning it and all that. But then the first thing we need to do is to work on this rate. Now, let me show you something. If you really need to see this thing at work, you reduce your rate. So while I'm pressing and holding, I take down the rate. You see that? Now I'll take my filter and I'll put it on 20. What you are seeing now is it's going in the way of the sine wave. If I probably taking this up, you will actually hear this more, reverberation going up and down. Let's even try and do that. While I'm holding, let me increase the rate here. So for everything we want to do here, this rate controls the level at which all these things come into play: the pitch, the filter, the amp, and the pan. So now that I put my filter on 20, let me put my filter on 25. It's doing that wab 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 now, because of this rate. If I take this rate back down, now this is cool. It goes up, comes down. Continues. So I think we're good with this. One more thing we need to quickly touch up. Right, as you can see right now, we are getting this, interestingly deep voice that you can choose to edit and modify whichever way you want. But one more thing we need to do before we go. Are you a fan of using full level? That every time you hit, it just gives you the same thing. No, it's not really advisable to use full level when you are dealing with key programming and all that. Now, I can give you like an easier way that you can still attain your full level, but at the same time, it will still respond to the velocity at which you are hitting the pad. To do that, we need to come to envelope. This amplitude will take it down to 0. Now, the thing is, if you do this, it's going to be giving you that full level effect. But then you want to be able to say, when I press on it, you notice that with different press, it's actually coming out with different sound. Now, let me reduce this particular volume a little bit. Let me stop at -10. And then let me come to, I think it should be the filter. Yes, this cutoff is already kind of on 50. Yours might be on 0 before. I'll put mine on 50, or whichever arrangement you want to use for yours. If you put it here, that is when you'll be able to actually understand what we're saying by the velocity still picking, even the full level in terms of what you're hitting, but it's still recognizing the velocity at which you are hitting the pad to give you different sound. That's the source velocity. Source velocity. Pressed hard. If you take off full velocity, you might not be able to experience that. You see, at anything I press, no matter how small, or it's just giving me the full velocity at all time. But this is making use of, even though I've taken out my velocity here, the amp to be 0, but because I have my cutoff set of 50, it's still able to understand, okay, fine, the level at which I am hitting this part, and it's giving me based on how I'm hitting it. Now, let's go. Something like that. So now you can see basically, and we're able to get this particular sound now from where? From 3 basic sounds. Let me go back and we'll play these sounds for us. Okay, now that we've added a lot of tweaks, you might not be able to check that out. But then, how do we do that? I think you can even still do that if I go to sample edit. Yeah, because these are the sounds we're using. Go. This is sound. This is one of the sounds, and this is another one. Another one. And the 4th one. But with all of these waves, you can actually modify them. We only used, I think, 2. We use a sawtooth, and then we use a sine wave. Combined the two, added some envelopes, the filters, and all that, and then we're able to actually make our own sound. That is how you make your own sound. You can tweak. If you tweak a lot more, you dive deeper into all these the envelopes and all that, you can actually get a good example. You work more on your LFOs, and then you work more on the amps and the filters, editing the cutoff and the cutoffs, and the resonance. You can actually achieve even a more fine-tuned sound to your own taste. So you can try it out, and then I'm sure it will come in handy. And the good thing about this kind of sound, if you generate it yourself, is that the memory space it will use on your device will be very, 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 very minimal. Like very, very minimal. It will not disturb, you will not actually it will not as if maybe your system is clipping or something because you have too many plugins you're using at the same time. No, this actually uses up a very, very minimal amount of memory space, and even talking about your processor on your MPC device. And that'll be all for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and we will see you in the next one.